If I'd have said this or you'd have said this, Rita, I'm sure Keir Starmer and his police force would take a different view. But of course, I don't believe a word of it. First of all, it's perfectly true that the last Conservative government lost control of the borders. Absolutely true. It's also true, though, that Keir Starmer has lost control of the borders. Almost 1,000 people came in a couple of days ago, in one day alone, on the illegal crossings across the Channel, on boats organized by criminal gangs. When he says that it's not a right to land in Britain and just stay, he's right. It's just something anyone can do, however. It's just something that nobody in his government or his border force are doing anything.
Keir Starmer, the myth himself, is the human equivalent of lukewarm tea with no sugar, no milk, served in a chipped mug labelled centrism. If charisma were a crime, he'd be out on bail for complete innocence. But Douglas Murray didn't show up to politely sip tea. He came to turn Starmer's political beige wallpaper into a Jackson Pollock explosion of sarcasm and reality checks, live on TV. And there was Starmer looking like a man who suddenly realised he'd brought a spreadsheet to a flamethrower fight.
Actual desire to tar anyone who has, as I say, not got a voice and is wanting to make their voice heard as a violent far-right neo-Nazi seems to me to be a big error by Keir Starmer and others. Because, if you can't say, we recognise your deep concerns about some things that have happened, including mass stabbings, terrorism, and much more. We understand your deep concerns, and we are going to try to get onto this and on top of this. But there is no excuse to turn out on the streets and be violent against your Muslim brothers and sisters and neighbours or anyone else. If they can't say that, they just cannot say it. They just have to go to the secondary thing.
Let's start with the basics. Starmer's grand political strategy is essentially cosplay. He wakes up every morning, stares into the mirror, and asks, how can I pretend to be even more boring than yesterday? It's like he's auditioning for the role of generic British man in a BBC drama absolutely no one asked for, where the main plot twist is mild disapproval, and his idea of leadership is to be not too left, not too right, not too anything at all, just aggressively bland, with the emotional consistency of mashed potatoes left out in the rain.
Meanwhile, we've got Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. Well, he's in danger of being arrested with some of the commentary he's been tweeting. Douglas, extraordinary stuff. He seems to be morphing into Donald Trump if his work on X is to be believed. In the past couple of weeks, he's posted about coming for illegal immigrants. He said he'll put Britain first and end the reliance to cheap overseas labour that's taking jobs from Brits. He posted, if you want to live in the UK, you should speak English. That's common sense. Bravo. He also said settlement in the UK is a privilege. That has to be earned. It's not a right. And he also said this about strong borders, that the Tories lost control of our borders and let net migration soar to record levels, undercutting hardworking Brits. I won't stand for it, Douglas.
Douglas Murray, on the other hand, doesn't do bland. He walked in armed with a flamethrower of facts, a scalpel of sarcasm, and a PhD in having absolutely no time for nonsense. And Starmer barely had time to blink before he was reduced to a political ghost, haunting the studio like the lingering. Spirit of missed opportunities, hollow soundbites, and budget cuts no one wants to remember, but everyone still feels.
The actual desire to tar anyone who has, as I say, not got a voice and is wanting to make their voice heard as a violent far-right neo-Nazi seems to me to be a big error by Keir.
Starmer's attempt to present himself as the saviour of Britain would be adorable if it weren't so tragically hilarious. It's like watching someone try to plug a hole in the Titanic with a tea towel. You know he kind of means well, but you're painfully aware that the disaster isn't just inevitable. It's probably already underway. His grand master plan seems to be simply to be slightly less disappointing than the Tories, which is less a vision for the future and more a shrug dressed up as leadership. A bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that plays out.
Douglas, it's happened again. Keir Starmer is again tweeting like he's Donald Trump, an angry Donald Trump. He posted, "You have every right to be angry about small boat crossings. I'm angry too."
and he's promised all sorts of action there. But Douglas, the number of people claiming asylum in the UK in the past year, in 2024, was the highest since records began. They're not really doing much to solve this issue.
Under Starmer, the Labour Party went from a sometimes overly enthusiastic political force to something that feels like a risk management committee at a local council. Thrilling stuff, obviously. He's the kind of leader who would respond to a national crisis by assembling a subcommittee, scheduling a consultation, and then issuing a strongly worded memo that gets ignored by everyone, including himself. And speaking of ignoring things, Starmer's track record of pretending problems don't exist is genuinely Olympic level. An immigration crisis becomes let's review it, rising inflation turns into we're exploring options, and public sector strikes are met with a solemn we respect thee. Process, translation, he's doing the political equivalent of hiding under a duvet with noise-cancelling headphones on, hoping reality gets bored and goes away.
What do you offer?
Revenge with knives. We don't give a damn anymore.
Who dies first?
Keir Starmer.
Douglas Murray wasn't having any of that. He called out the soggy platitudes, the focus group leadership nonsense, and the sheer audacity of Starmer acting like a man with a plan when the only thing he's ever successfully led is a committee on how not to offend absolutely anyone, ever, a mission. Which, spoiler alert, failed spectacularly because everyone's still offended and now they're bored as well. And let's not forget Starmer's extraordinary ability to say absolutely nothing in 500 words or more. The man could give a TED talk titled The Art of Verbal Wallpaper and still earn a standing ovation from centrists who think decisive action is all a bit much, beginning a sentence with "let me be," clear and then fogging up the room with so much ambiguity you'd need a compass, a Sherpa and a search party just to locate the point.
An anomaly like that. Maybe Farage will blow it up. I mean, the Conservatives have blown themselves up. It'll be very hard to know what remains of them after the election. But it's a bizarre situation historically to end up in. The only country going to the left, and with real ignoramuses at the top. I can never get over the fact that David Lammy seems to believe that a man can grow a cervix if he takes the right medication.
And a man who was campaigning for us to rejoin the EU at one point. Now there's the irony there, isn't
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the irony of a Labour government which is almost certainly going to try to drag us back into the common market or something, some kind of back door or side door. The irony of that.
Douglas, ever the surgeon, peeled back the curtain and revealed that Starmer's brand of politics is less about convictions and more about not getting sued. He operates like a risk analyst for an insurance firm, careful, calculated, and utterly devoid of soul. He's not trying to lead a movement, he's trying to avoid making headlines unless they're about his latest non-committal policy adjustment. And oh, those policy shifts. Watching Starmer change positions is like watching a weather vane in a hurricane. He'll promise one thing, then months later pretend he never said it. Tuition fees. Scrap them. Until he noticed students don't vote with enough enthusiasm. Nationalisation. Absolutely. Until he realised corporations donate more than train commuters. His memory is so selectively convenient, it might as well be a Netflix algorithm, permanently set to grey suit politician mode.
Police force would take a different view. But of course, I don't believe a word of it. First of all, it's perfectly true that the last Conservative government lost control of the borders. Absolutely true. It's also true, though, that Keir Starmer has lost control.
Douglas practically had a bingo card of Starmer's reversals and contradictions, and watching it unfold felt like a roast merged with a courtroom drama. Exhibit after exhibit of promises quietly filed under just kidding. Starmer's campaign slogans might as well be "It depends," "We're looking into it," and "Things have changed," otherwise known as the political equivalent of saying, "It's not you, it's me," while backing slowly toward the exit.
I mean, Keir Starmer says, in a tweet, "I'm angry," in order to try to placate the actual, real anger of the British public, who just, whether it's Conservative or Labour, the migration just keeps going up and up endlessly. So that just illegal boat crossings across the channel in a single day again the other day were about 1,100 people. More than 1,000 people arriving illegally in a day. I mean, what's the point of having laws? What's the point of even pretending you have borders, let alone pretending that you're angry when they are they're being infringed when they're being infringed every...
Then there's the way Starmer treats his own party like a crime scene he's desperately trying to cover up. Remember when Labour was actually about, Labour? These days, it's about distancing himself from anything that looks remotely like a principle. Workers' rights get a mumbled nod followed by silence. Union leaders are greeted with the enthusiasm of spotting an X in the supermarket aisle. And party members with left-wing ideas are purged faster than bad reviews on a politician's Wikipedia page. Douglas didn't just mention this, he deep-fried it and served it with a side of this is why no one trusts politicians. Starmer treats grassroots activists the way a teenager treats their parents. Embarrassing relics of the past who just don't get it. And by it we mean his master plan to win elections by pretending the Labour Party is basically the Conservative Party, just with slightly different fonts.
In Britain, it's not just the two-tier policing system that Keir Starmer has overseen since coming into office. It's the fact that the police, local councillors, local councils, MPs and others have all overseen this. And they've all overseen this. And it required...
And speaking of elections, Starmer's idea of campaigning seems to be turning up, smiling awkwardly, saying something beige, and leaving before anyone can ask a real question. He drifts through constituencies like a man avoiding eye contact with his ex at a wedding. Polite, brief, and profoundly uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Douglas Murray delivered his critique like a Shakespearean monologue powered by flamethrower energy. He didn't just question Starmer's competence, he held up a mirror and asked, "Who even are you?" Because, let's be honest, no one really knows. Is he left, right, centre, or just a hologram, an elaborate social experiment designed to see how long someone can lead a major party without ever making a definitive statement? The only thing we know for sure is that he's never met a fence he didn't happily sit on, cross-legged, sipping lukewarm tea.
Keir Starmer has suddenly discovered the startling news that men have a penis and women have a vagina. It is a departure from what he has said in the recent past. Indeed, he's performing quite a few backflips in this area. Let's have a look.
A woman can have a penis.
Nick, I'm not... I don't think we can conduct this debate with,
Trans rights are human rights, and I support the right to self-identification. I think we need to respect the right to self-identify, and we're committed to updating the GRA to introduce self-declaration for trans people.
We don't think that self-identification is the right way forward.
Is it transphobic to say only women have a cervix?
Well, it is something that shouldn't be said. It is not right.
Starmer could be leading a full-scale revolution, and it would still feel like a painfully polite HR briefing about printer etiquette. He's the kind of politician who asks the status quo to shift slightly left only if everyone nods in agreement, no one interrupts, and detailed minutes are recorded. So risk-averse, he probably checks with his barista whether the cappuccino foam has passed a controversy audit. His political strategy boils down to don't upset anyone ever, which works great in a cat-caf but is catastrophically ineffective when running a country. At a time when voters crave authenticity, his idea of relatability is confessing he once ate a sandwich, likely with knife and fork, while reviewing spreadsheets, a remarkable feat of offending nobody and inspiring even fewer. Honestly, swap him out for a moderately intelligent screensaver and the polling numbers wouldn't even notice the difference. Douglas didn't even need to shout. A calm reminder that Starmer's signature political move is plausible deniability. "I didn't say that, I didn't promise that, I didn't mean it like that," was enough, like watching a man play hide and seek with his own principles. This wasn't a debate, it was a public autopsy of a political illusion, with Keir Starmer showing up late, apologising profusely, and contributing nothing but vague intentions and recycled slogans. He doesn't confront power, he consults a PR team before cautiously frowning, while the media, bless them, declare his silence strategic, as if playing political minesweeper in slow motion counts as leadership. Every step he takes is meticulously designed to offend no one, which, unsurprisingly, leaves him impressing absolutely no one.